Hello, everyone, and welcome back to 5-Minute.AI. If we're going to keep that name, we'll see. But this is a chance for my buddy Serj and I to talk. We started doing this years ago, talking about education, the future of personalized learning, decentralization, Web3. And now we've had the chance to start a company together working in AI and focused on helping people build AI agents customized to their use case. So, Serj, it's good to be back. We talk every day, but let's get the camera back on and start the party again.
That's it. I think we see so much on our edge of building things and having to integrate all these technologies into Chipp. And there's just so much that comes up every day. And we're seeing so many cool things that you guys build. So we thought we'd want to share that a bit more and not have it as an internal conversation, but share it.
Yeah. So this is your short, bite-sized update of what's going on in the world of AI. We want to share one big kind of concept or trend we're seeing, maybe a use case, and then a little bit of look at the news. But I think that the trend to start with is probably the one we've been thinking about a lot, which is AI agents and really figuring out what this is. We started Chipp as a way to help people build initially chatbots and integrate that with other work. And in my mind, an agent was always something that's going to go do a bunch of tasks on its own and then come back with an answer. But it feels like the term AI agent is now ubiquitous around anything that moves data from place to place, even if it's not multi-step autonomous. So tell me, how are you thinking about AI agents, what they are, and why people should even care?
I think there's that really deep understanding of an agent, which is coming or is around the corner. That's the shift from reactive AI applications to proactive AI applications. Like you said, that agent that goes out and does things on your behalf, maybe even when you don't know it's doing it or because you told it to do it and it will do it on a different day. But there's a couple of different parts there which are in the future. I mean, I think there's like a stepping stone, which you've been uncovering in a couple of conversations you've been having. And that fully fledged agent world is some combination of long-term memory and AI. It's also goal-oriented behavior. So being able to set the goal. It's also being able to learn from the environment and go, actually, I need to change the goal or I need to rethink the strategy here. And probably all sorts of being able to pull up different tools to apply them to different problems. So that's really where the future of agents is going. But we're at this sort of crossroads now. It's a stepping stone from just reactive AI apps to something that's still able to do something quite sophisticated, right? So what was that definition that you came up with or you heard somewhere? Agents.
Yeah, it was just AI agents are basically mini pieces of software that will do multiple steps for you. And I think you can do this today just with prompts. So if you're using Chipp or ChatGPT or Claude, you can say, first look at this and then write a blog post, or first do this and then create a PDF. And that's essentially a simple agent. It's not even interacting necessarily with other tools, but I think AI agents are essentially going to be like SaaS, right? Where you have a software, which is just an agent that's going to do something for you. And I see a need to help people build those. And I think leaning into that is where I'm feeling where Chipp is headed. And I think where the AI world's headed generally.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's going to come together. And there's so many people fighting for that term and fighting for the technology which will enable it. But I'm sure we can start to integrate that and make it available really easily.
Speaking of agents, we always want to showcase like an actual use case. I think there's all these really cool demos from companies. And I saw a great tweet from Ethan Malik that was like, just remember AI labs are doing AI lab things, like making cool technology to show other AI labs. They're not always translating that into how you would benefit from their new technology. So I have a fun use case to share if you want me to.
Do you want to start? And I'll pull up mine.
Yeah. So I'm helping a client at Chipp. It's been so hard, but they're trying to look at multiple contracts and confirm the details are the same. So just imagine 4 different PDFs. Are the amounts the same? Are the dates the same? Are the signatures the same? And it was going well until we started to realize like even the contracts weren't consistent, right? So like contract 1 is from 2022 and we used to call field A this and now we call field A that. And having to put in all this logic then into the instructions. If it's this, then do this. If it's that, do that. But we're getting there. And my big takeaway is a really big difference I found between using ChatGPT and Claude for contract review or PDF review is by default, Claude is doing OCR. So if you have messy contracts that were scanned in diagonally, handwritten, kind of light, we've all seen those bad PDFs. ChatGPT couldn't do it. Like it wouldn't find the information. And Claude first time did it perfectly. So that was super fascinating to me as a use case. If you're going to be comparing PDFs that aren't legible, use Claude. Or I tried to force ChatGPT into OCR, which is basically where it's looking at an image instead of pulling text. It didn't do great. That was my learning. And it's a powerful use case, I think, comparing PDFs to confirm information. So that was a fun one.
Totally. And it's also a common pattern, I think, in the use cases we're seeing is that a lot of the value is actually just doing these very manual, laborious tasks, but doing them with a little bit of AI in there. That's a probably multiple hour process that someone has to go through. And you're solving it just with the fact that these LLMs can also be aware of documents. And
Yeah.
that's not crazy technical, but it's a really high value thing. You can see that.
Yeah. And just little things you find frustrating. And this is where I think AI agents are going to come in. With ChatGPT, I could actually give it Python code, which I don't know, but I asked ChatGPT to help me write it, to export a PDF the way I wanted. So it actually export a PDF structured with a title. But then in Claude, they won't export PDFs. And
Right.
so we have to like copy, click, print, save to PDF. So just these little things, that's where AI agents need to come in. And I think that's where we're trying to get Chipp, where it's like /PDF and it'll do that work for you. But it's fascinating and frustrating to find these little things that block you. And then to think, I think Skynet's a long ways off. I can't even get this into a PDF.
I agree. We're still going to work out how this all works out in the wild. And I guess the use case I want to share was like, I've been seeing a lot of tutors in general, but then this
Yeah.
one was stood out to me is that someone's been building, and I need to find the builder of this. Someone's been building a tutor that helps learners understand genome scale data analysis and visualization techniques using the programming language R. So I just thought this was fascinating that like we can speed up a lot of medical learning and understanding through these kinds of tutors. So it's asking me what my current understanding of all of this is. I'm going to say I'm an absolute beginner. And then it's going to start helping me, just like a commoner, understand RNA data sets, which I just thought was a really fun use case. Is actually a lot of very niche, very specific knowledge is being able to be scaffolded and personalized now just
Yeah.
through the use of AI. And we were always big on AI tutors in education, but I think this is just even more impressive in a way that to see people in very like high impact industries starting to adopt AI tutors and Chipp to apply that to professional development in their labs or hospitals.
Yeah. And it's fascinating to me. I think the big challenge maybe not challenge, but just the reality we're going to see is that people with agency, people who want to go share their knowledge will. My guess is like a lot of people just want to watch Netflix and use AI for, I don't know, generating an image once in a while. So there's not a technical barrier, but I still think we're going to have this like motivational barrier where people, they need just enough motivation to go try it and create it. This person has this specific knowledge. I think everybody has specific knowledge and you could pretty easily share it, maybe productize it or help you work faster, but you still have to want to. And I've talked to so many businesses that they see value in AI, but they're either the leadership or the employees just haven't had the desire to like change. And so, yeah, it's a change management challenge, it seems like.
Yeah. And we've been using this term FOMO, not FOMO, right? The
Yeah.
fear of messing up versus the fear of missing out is actually what's blocking the adoption of AI. So
Yeah.
having the right policies in place, having the right mindsets in place, creating time for your team or your staff to try it out, just
Yeah.
do it without any risk and have a play with it is really difficult. That's the change management thing.
Yeah. No, totally. We always want to hit a few items in the news, keep people up to date. I was pretty excited to see Google's stepping up its game and they announced Gemini 2.0. So I know you've been reading and diving in a little bit. So tell us why this matters.
Yeah. So the thing is, and I want to say this off the bat, is Google have had a history of, what is it, false promises with their watches, right? It looks very impressive. I think Gemini 2 is basically more connected to all of your apps across all of the different Google products, more access to all of that data and more context. Then it's multimodal, like it can sense objects in the physical world. It can help you out with gaming in the virtual worlds. It is able to do images to video to image. It's just more powerful in every dimension. But what really sort of stood out to me was that they're really pushing for the idea of agents. And this is clearly where the field is going. The idea that it can access your browser. And if you give it tasks and say, hey, I need you to do research on a very specific type of painting technique by someone, then it will go and find that on the web or browse the web, pull that together into a document and put it all in one place for you. So it actually has the ability to act through your web browser. I don't know if this is full control of the computer, like Anthropic's.
I think so, from what I
Could you,
saw.
is that what
Yeah.
you saw? Yeah. That's pretty impressive. That's
Right.
a lot of context and a lot of access to, the core applications on your computer. So we're getting into that agent type behavior where it's taking action.
Yeah, I think the interesting use case I noticed was with live streaming, right? So like the fact that it can ingest live video and react to it, that's a lot of power. Like I was talking to a company that was trying to monitor video feeds for accidents. So you could
Mhm.
imagine like there's just a 24/7 video feed watching a pipe, right?
Yeah.
But they need to know if something breaks out of that pipe, like to tell somebody, or like have ring security and people walking by, whatever. And you can now take action on that, what's happening in the video, and call
Mm,
different tools like an AI agent or even text. So if I'm watching a live stream video, it could actually send messages back to that live streamer. It can
it's
monitor
good.
for my brand name that gets mentioned. So there's so many ways to think about how much live video there is that we could respond to in real time. I think that's exciting use of Gemini too.
Absolutely. Yeah. Let's see how people use it and let's see if it comes true on its promise. I can only hope.
It's not in the API yet. So as soon as it is, we'll be integrating it into Chipp. We didn't introduce ourselves, but Scott, Serj, co-founders of Chipp.ai, where you can build AI agents, and encourage you to follow us on YouTube. Just look for Chipp.ai, and on LinkedIn. We'll be doing this every week, trying to share the best of, and we'll come up with a snappy name for you. So definitely share your ideas, and I'll look forward to talking to you soon, Serj.
All right. Chat soon. Bye,
All
guys.
right. Cheers.